Welcome on back to Skippers. Today I am going to recap some things you may have missed over the weekend in fantasy baseball. Today's video is sponsored by Sorare MLB. Do not forget to subscribe, join the Discord. Let's get into some of the players. First player with a big weekend was Willy Adames of the Brewers. Over the weekend, Adames went 6 for 11. He had 2 home runs, a double, 4 runs batted in against the St. Louis Cardinals. Brings his average up to 344 and his OPS sits at 984. We know the struggles that Willy Adames had in Tampa Bay and his trouble seeing, but everything seemed to click last season except for his contributions in the batting average category. Last year, Willy Adames had a K rate in the 16th percentile, a whiff percentage in the 24th percentile, thanks to the highest out-of-zone swing percentage of his career. But to start this season, Willy Adames is attacking pitches in the zone at a rate we hadn't seen before. His zone contact percentage is at 94.7%, which is obviously elite, and is running a batting average of balls in play at 391. If Adames cuts down on the swing and miss in his game and he starts to contribute in the batting average category as well, if we get closer to a 270, 275 instead of a 230 like last season, he's going to be a star in fantasy baseball and someone that you want on your teams no matter how you have to acquire him. The second player is Sonny Gray of the Washington Nationals. One of the most interesting stat lines of the weekend came from Sonny Gray. In his 10 at-bats over 2 games, Garrett hit 600 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 5 runs batted in just 1 game. Sonny Gray obviously hasn't seen a lot of time in the big leagues, but in the short term, he could be a nice streamer against left-handed pitchers. In his 53 at-bats against left-handers at the big league level, Garrett has a 999 OPS, a 302 ISO, and a weighted runs created plus of 166. It'll be interesting to see how the Nats are going to continue to use him, but the raw tools are definitely there for Sonny Gray. We saw this even at the end of last season when he was playing with the Diamondbacks. At only 3% rostered if you're in a deep league and you need a streamer against lefties, and if they're going to play Sonny Gray in the 2-hole in that lineup, he'd be a very nice option for you. Third player is going to be Rojas of the Diamondbacks. He's a nice option for someone to roster if you are in daily changes leagues. He had himself a 2-game stretch over the weekend. In his 10 at-bats, he had 6 hits, including 1 double and 1 stolen base. Rojas is 42% rostered and is eligible at both second base and third base, and he hits in the leadoff spot for the D-backs when they face right-handed pitchers. Again, he has 2 stolen bags in that leadoff spot, and it always helps when you're in ultra-aggressive lineups like the Diamondbacks have, utilizing their power from any spot in the order. Rojas has also added 2 stolen bases this season, which always helps where you're in an ultra-aggressive lineup like the D-backs, and they have been using their speed at any part of the order. No matter where they are, they're stealing bases at a crazy rate. When you see the D-backs match up against a right-handed pitcher, you know Rojas is going to be in the lineup. This season, he has 25 plate appearances against right-handed pitchers and only 1 against a left-handed pitcher, and in that 1 at-bat, he struck out. He's not going to hit for a ton of power, but he isn't going to get himself out either. As of today, he's run his batting average up to 417 and is sitting at an OPS of 965. Today's video is brought to you by Sorare MLB. On Sorare MLB, you can build a fantasy baseball dynasty and win amazing rewards with Sorare's revolutionary fantasy MLB game. This game transforms baseball fans into general managers. Visit the marketplace to buy, sell, and trade digital player cards to boost your team and progress to advanced competitions with once-in-a-lifetime prizes like merch, game tickets, and VIP packages. Sorare is a free-to-play daily fantasy game where you score points based on the real-life performance of the players in your lineup. When you first sign up for Sorare MLB, you'll get to draft 10 common cards to begin your collection. You'll need to draft 3 starters, a relief pitcher, 2 corner infielders, 2 middle infielders, and 2 outfielders. You're able to enter into modified points league-based tournaments for each game week, where you're able to win prizes determined by how many points your roster scores. Sorare MLB uses a bi-weekly tournament schedule with each game week spanning a 3 to 4 day cycle. At the end of the game week, if your team performed well enough in your tournaments, you'll earn rewards in the form of new Sorare MLB cards to add to your collection and strengthen your team for the next tournaments. Make sure you click the link in our bio to start playing Sorare MLB today. One of the most crazy outings from the weekend comes from Bubic of the Royals. Bubic has had one of the most promising pitching repertoire changes of anyone in all of baseball to start this season. He took this shockingly foreign concept of throwing his worst pitch less and his better pitches more often, and it has worked wonders in his first 2 starts. Bubic led all of baseball on Sunday with 19 whiffs and had a box score that read 6 scoreless innings with only 2 hits and 9 punches against the Giants. Bubic has decreased his 4-seam usage and has increased the usage of his slider, changeup, and curveball. Last season, he had a 23rd percentile spin rate on his fastball and a 69th percentile spin rate on his curveball. Bubic's changeup velo is up 2.3 miles an hour, which led to a 36% whiff rate on Sunday. His curveball velo is up 2 miles an hour, which led to a whiff percentage of 63% on Sunday. And this has helped his 4-seam fastball as well, with 7 whiffs on Sunday against it. I also want you guys to do a nice little funny research assignment. Look at the difference between his baseball savant pages from this season currently to last year. Who knows if he is going to keep this up, but it has been super impressive to start this season and something I'm going to be monitoring for a guy I might have to pick up at some point in some of my deeper leagues. And finally, one of the premier outings of the weekend came from Sonny Gray. The righty went 7 innings, giving up 1 on 4 hits and struck out 13 Houston Astros. His stuff looked as good as ever. He has found these whiffs thanks to increased curveball usage, which has consistently returned a negative run value over his career. He's throwing his 4-seam fastball and sinker at the lowest rates of his career and throwing his slider more than both of those fastballs. His spin rates were up, but his average velocity was down. And again, this is another shocking development. When a pitcher is throwing his good pitches more and his shitty ones less often, things seem to work out. There's just a quick little recap on the weekend, all the things going on. Again, we'll get some of your favorite players in there at some point. Definitely want to put Nick Lodolo in the video, but at 95% in the midst of a breakout. I don't think anyone's trying to get rid of Nick Lodolo anytime soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you to So Rare MLB for sponsoring the video. Join the Discord, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow.